I've woken up recently. It won't be a long one. I have a thing to do at 2 p.m. and it's 10 a.m. So that's okay. It's Sunday. I'm chilling. Good morning. Let me get some Mountain Dew. Hold on. I saw that. It was a Philly anniversary. Happy anniversary to me. Okay. Let's wake up. We got something a little more pumping. This'll do it.
ये मुसलमान का खून ये हिंदू का खून बता मुसलमान का कौन सा हिंदू का कौन सा बता साले बनाने वाले ने फर्क नहीं किया तू कौन था फर्क करने वाला turning to hate, turning to votes, turning to notes. Like a kind of black money with the antidote. Best kind of bloody, yeah, we're bringing the hope. You gotta walk the road, up on your block, provoked. And what you're not sure you wanna got block the bone. Where you at? I don't need no gun. I bring the fire and the fury of the third one, son. Just for me, once again. Just on it, on again. What don't get from me? I'm control the time again. Turn on my life. When you block the vote, and what you're not sure you wanna got block the boat. The crap they call them governance. More than a rap man, we're reforming governments. Full on attack man, get with the plan. We're here to pull apart the politicians and the God plan. Yeah, we're saying but we're saying nothing new. We're just saying you better do the shit you say you're gonna do. None of that fake shit, WWE. Cause you know we keep it real like the UFC.
मजा आया।
I'm trying to add my camera source to the other source. Adding it to the group made it all get messed up. I doubt you could even hear me over that. This is a banger. Brush away like dirt. Sick. And then take a bow, traitor. It's like such a. It's just. It gets me pumped, man. Just like. Oh, good morning. Last night, also I changed some of the lighting. So it's a bit moodier because I realized that the yellow lights behind me were completely pumping and they were getting all over or spilling into the monitors more than I thought they were, which was just annoying when I realized it. And then I had to change it. So, although I should pump this into there. Let's see. I do the thing, cast screen, pick the television. Do not send audio. Pick my screen that's on there. Then I have to turn the TV on because I turned it off at the movie night. Just like that. Anyway. Yeah. Last night, Kara and I, after the movie and then after the yesterday was Saturday. I don't think we had anything super crazy we were doing. We did stuff on Friday, and then today we're doing stuff. Oh, I mowed the lawn and shit. Anyway, we ended up seeing a bunch of stuff about like Palestine and Tom Homan. We popped into Rhizome's stream where he's doing brain rot, and it rotted my brain for sure. And the other people. We're kind of watching a lot of the Turning Point USA information. Apparently, that's like the shit that's happening like in my town and in Tampa Bay area. I guess it's on the Tampa side mostly, but yeah, they were being evil fucks, and then we looked. They were talking about stuff, and I was like showing Kara what they were referring to and the murdering that's happening at the humanitarian aid and how the GH whatever, like the GHF or the thing that's replacing UNRWA in the UN to give out food to people, and how they're just opening fire on Palestinians with the, as they're being kettled and pushed through only like 4 food sites to give them not even enough calories to maintain the human body. I have to trek for like miles back and forth every day to get it and lug it that distance among getting shot at and killed for just entertainment. Watch the leaked video from the different mercenaries who are like, Hell yeah, boy, I got one. Bang, 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 bang. Get it, get it. Literally like the scum from Full Metal Jacket. Their southern accent, just hipping and hawing at shooting unarmed, starving civilians. It just makes you mad. So, waking up with a fucking Indian metal telling them to fuck off and calling them traitors and shit. It's like, yeah, we needed a little bit of that, a little palate cleanser. But today, you know, not much action that we can do, but we are going to be going out and ending up with our local DSA, and they're going to be talking about the big conference that's coming up. I don't think I will nominate myself to go, but because I think there's a lot of people that want to go. Although I'm unemployed, so I could totally just go to Chicago, whatever, just do it. Be kind of sick. Could IRL stream. Could be awesome, but also, like, I don't know how much I care about the super, super deep. Like, it's like once every other year they do this, like, I guess like a big congress of DSA where every chapter has like delegates, and we apparently happen to have a productive chapter despite our size, which is good. As far as like nominating our own members to be candidates for city councils and how many votes they get. Although I believe we were just toppled because New York City DSA just went insane-o mode and got Zoran elected. Speaking of which, might as well just give it another little soft launch to the day.
I'm going to make you a countryside chicken curry.
It's a little bit of music.
My name is Praveen. No. Hello, everyone. Pound and a half of chicken.
Nani?
Stir and fry it again.
Mom?
You're living in our house now, Mom. We're not living in yours. Why do I have to keep telling you this? And then on Wednesday, you forget to pick up Nikhil from school. All of your meddling, these questions, and the TV serials, it cause you to lose sight of the fact that you are not a good nanny.
I'm the best damn nanny that you ever done seen. Fuck top 5 nannies and fuck top 3. I'm the number 1 nanny, don't fuck with me. Fuck any of the nannies, says they better than Praveen. Cause I'm 85 years old, 85 years cold, 85 years with my family on my back, so I'll last everybody on my fucking haters. Don't know me now, then you never know me later. Say, I be in an elevator to the top, go and find your own way there. Drinking a little water, pour for me by my waiter. Not just anyone, but the head fucking meter. At the top, where I base. Got a great grandkid, man, fucking ace. Wrapped in a shawl just in case a cool breeze, but you never catch me, better just catch Ace.
I'm not good at noticing lyrics when I'm listening, but I'm just reading them now. They're funny as fuck.
Down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you. Give a crown to you. Bow down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you.
This the nanny anthem, Jimmy another bantam. Weight class, whoop ass, and all you for ransom. Got a grandson that's handsome and then some. Spends his income on dim sum to fill time. You talking retention. Me, I'm talking expansion. Got the whole squad here, keep them at attention. And I'm not in the business of taking no tension. So, gather round now, celebrate me. I'm your boss, I'm your fucking nanny. Got a doctorate, bitch, so don't fucking try me. Don't need a nano, cause I'm living my G. Kitty, my G. Run this whole city like a Ramiyati. Stay setting people up, MC at the shawty. If you see me in the streets, don't be asking Guani.
Bow down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you. Give a crown to you. Bow down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you.
Go ahead, make a rap for you. your nanny.
It's a rap.
Get the guap, spin the rack on your nanny.
Spin the rack.
Come through, give a dab to your nanny. If you're really feeling good, spin a track for your nanny. Go ahead, make a rap for your nanny.
It's a rap.
Get the guap, spin the rack on your nanny.
Spin the rack.
Come through, give a dab to your nanny. If you're really feeling good, spin a track for your nanny.
I can't get over just some of the silliness. Like there was, what was it? I think it was here. Yeah, right here.
Track for your nanny. Go ahead.
Like this guy's just like kind of like looking at all the different camera people, and
Make a
like
rap
his eyes
for
are
your
like
nanny.
kind of just jotting around, like it just like just looking at all the different things that they're doing, and then
Get the guap, spin the rack on your nanny.
Spin the rack.
Come through, give a dab to your nanny. If you're really feeling good, spin a track for your nanny.
right about here, he's like, yeah, I'll get into it, I'll do it. Hey, what's up? Ren's Roadhouse. That's I read it as hey, despite it saying he, because I don't know. Trying to get pumped back up because it was a depressing evening of looking at some of the horrors beyond human comprehension. So looking at the Zoran stuff brings it back. Oh, what's up? Wait, today's gonna be a little bit short day. Just kind of waking up. In case it wasn't obvious. Because I have a thing to do at 2 p.m. So, I think I should have there should be some good stuff on the docket though, as far as like what we have available to us. There we go. This is one of the ones on my, oh, movie starting soon. Shit. That's not true. That was yesterday. We have a little Saturday matinee thing that we were trying out for the first time. Okay. Bam. Just throw this not in that folder, but here. This is one that I saw pop up. I love good works stuff. What's the point of summer internships? Let me grab the URL. This way it can be inserted for all good, no worries. It'll be inside our Discord, !Discord, to feel free to join the Discord. That way all the different videos we watch are in there. What's the point of summer internships? Now, I had done a summer internship before. I think they were not before they were popular or whatever, but like before more rules came out about them. At least in Florida, like my dad delivered to some place and noticed it was about video editing. It was called Tampa Digital Studios, just some little place in downtown Tampa. And he would talk to the editor who was outside drinking beer and like grilling or whatever. And he would talk to him for a while here and there. And he just kind of liked them, that they were just kind of like his people kind of thing. And then he was randomly talking about like, yo, I got a son who's, you know, in high school and is interested in this. Do you guys do any internships or whatever? I'm not sure exactly who brought the topic, but it came up somehow. And I'm like, yeah, bring them by, whatever. So then I was told about it. I was pumped and I was like, oh, wow, really? So then I had to like learn how to like take the bus to get the express, because I couldn't drive back then. I didn't have a car. This is like, I must have been 15 learner's permit at most, 14 perhaps, sophomore year. And just went to this place for free, for no college credit, for no class credit, just kind of hung around their business. I even like drove in or rode around in their car when they would go to shoots. No paperwork signed, no like liability thing signed, just completely raw dogging it. Like just, they just let me in. It's kind of a small business, so it makes sense that they wouldn't make anything super official. But thinking back on it, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that shit is like not legally. Like, what happens if I was in a car, and under their tutelage, and then got into like a wreck or something, or just something fell on me at work, right? Or whatever. My hand got caught in a door. You know, just some simple things. Just crazy. So for me, point of internship was just to say I did an internship, and then I got a letter of like recommendation from like a few of the editors on like real nice paper that I have no idea how useful it was whenever I would try to apply places. They were just saying like, he's a real smart kid. He really tries hard. He knows his stuff. Is all they really said. It was really nice of them to do that. They were sweet. And it put me on the path of giving a shit about these things. So that's my internship, which was like almost a more like, not like, you know, Socratic, but it had like the raw, like, I'm here for the sake of learning more than a college credit. And then later on, there was rules like when Kara got her internship, there were rules either put up in the different places that she would go for graphic design. But it might have even been a part of things where you had to actually get paid. You had to get like, because you do work, you are there to some degree to do labor. So you get paid. And I was like, damn, I didn't get paid. I didn't even get credit. I just fucking did it. Although I did do a internship at Home Shopping Network later on, because I had, you know, I really enjoyed the previous internship that was completely, you know, fake that we set up. And this one again was actually for school credit, college credit, but I did not get paid as well because that was back before. And I'm pretty sure once the rules started where you had to get paid, HSN, not besmirching because of the true fact, they stopped doing internships, at least in my departments for sure. So what is the point of summer internships?
Interns. Every summer, hordes of college students and one weird high schooler migrate to major American cities, especially here in New York, where they waddle into the skyscrapers of high-flying industries like finance, tech, and consulting, and pretend to be adults. But as these large children, with their confusing slang and ill-fitting dress shirts, invade our business enclaves, stand in line outside of our dive bars, and awkwardly linger on the fringes of our open-plan offices, just waiting for someone to give them a task to complete, an important question remains. What are they actually doing here? Today, we investigate.
Dan's looking sharp in his suit. I have not noticed when he switched it up from doing his trench coat look to like the full-on, like, he looks great.
I began my investigation by typing "what's the point of summer internships" into my computer, where I learned such facts as internships are a great option to gain the invaluable benefits associated with them, and the primary objective of an internship is to gain experience and exposure to a certain field. I mean, it was sounding like the internship stakes were pretty high. A suspicion I soon confirmed with some random videos of strangers yelling at me online.
If you don't have an internship the summer after your sophomore year, it'll make it harder for you to get an internship the summer after your junior year, which will then impact the chances of you getting a decent.
That was literally when I did my internship in high school, was my sophomore year into my junior year. I did two back to back. One at the end of my sophomore year into junior, then one at the end of my junior year into senior year. But I only did one internship because they only offered to do internships at the end of your college thing, basically. It was like it was supposed to be my last semester in my entire course in college. And then that's when I got flattened by a bus and then took that semester off, came back for another semester, finished my degree, finished the internship at the same time. And then I just waited from like my last day in November of the internship, graduated in December, and then waited patiently for that phone call, email to say, we're ready to hire you. It wasn't until like March of the following year. So I just applied to one place and just said, they'll hire me. I know they will. And they did. So I still had like a part-time job at like the university at the time. And it was a little bit concerning working in January, in February, and then a good way into March, watching the other people who were seniors in the same video lab or what it was, and then watching them get their jobs and leave, and then a new person would come to replace the old one, and then a new person would come to replace the other one, and you're like, okay, am I going to be just kind of here forever? What the fuck? What's going on? Like, any day now, and then boom, I was gone.
Job after college.
Internships are more important now than they ever were before.
Change the course of your entire career.
One of the most important career investments you can make.
Interns, it's not about what.
No, jump scare, Gary V. Oh God, he looks so fucked in this.
You're going to learn this summer, my friends. It's going to be who you meet.
As you can see, internships are the
You gotta meet them peoples. You gotta meet them up.
most important thing that will happen in your entire life. And perhaps this is why so many of our best, brightest, and most type A young people are so determined to get one into their high-achieving crosshairs. Today, acceptance rates at top internships have fallen below 1%, with Goldman Sachs, for example, receiving over 360,000 applications for just this summer's class. Companies in finance and accounting now recruit interns nearly a year and a half before they'd be expected to start, meaning many current summer interns applied in 2023, which, to jog your memory, is the year of ancient phenomena such as the Drippy Pope, Barbenheimer, the Met Gala cockroach, and it was also the last time my wife allowed me to caress her intimately. But enough beating around the bush, which is something I haven't done since 2023. I decided to seek out the highest possible authority on internships. None other than LinkedIn themselves.
In today's job market, it helps you get a job.
Corey Cantega is the head of Economics America at LinkedIn. A real goddamn job title.
It's particularly...
Wait. Having an internship helps you get a job because you have on-the-job experience at that job. Makes sense to me.
Economics America at LinkedIn. A real goddamn job title.
It's particularly slow for entry-level workers, so it is critical to do everything you can to get an advantage in the labor market when it's so competitive. Financial services, technology, information, and media, those are key areas where you can get a leg up if you interned. You want to use the internship to figure out where you want to go, how to build your career. It's not just a tool to get a job, it's a tool of discovery. The ability to do an internship is not accessible to everyone. If you can get an internship that's paid, that's a great advantage. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of folks pursue internships in finance, because they are all paid.
Indeedy, in the world we call business, internships in the finance sector are often deemed the ritziest, not only because of the connections they provide, but also the fat salaries they offer these kids to blow on whole milk and Newports. If kids are still spending money like they used to. For example, banks like Goldman Sachs and hedge funds like Citadel pay from $50 to $150 an hour. So you can make more than 20 bands in 2 months in a single summer. So it's no surprise that applying to these things is a process that includes a whole lot of resume bullshitting and a whole lot of rejection.
You really don't have any experience, any relevant experience, so you just try to make anything sound like relevant experience.
I applied to around 30 to 40 internships, and I think I got ghosted by over 90% of them. I know a lot of people, like you, are looking at internships even as early as your freshman year.
I emailed 50 firms. I chatted like maybe 10,
20, 30.
Everyone was on the grind with their networking, coffee chats and things like that. I skipped all of my lectures, like especially second semester when like the recruiting for summer hyped up. I skipped almost every single class.
There's this thing called the 400 questions guide, and there's literally 400 questions that relate to investment banking recruiting, and students are memorizing all of them and being able to answer all of them just to even have a shot.
It was psychotically competitive. Like there would be networking events on campus and people would lie about when they were so that you wouldn't make it there and stuff like that.
Hey, I just want to take a moment and thank you for watching Good Work with me, Gavin Crenshaw. I am Gavin Crenshaw, and I've always been Gavin Crenshaw. Ask anything about me, my address, my financial information, my various health conditions, my 5 kids, my long overdue mortgage. Becoming Gavin Crenshaw only took a bit of perusing on data brokerage sites for a juicy identity worth stealing. But if you don't want me to become you, then you might want to check out something called Incogni. Incogni is an online service that keeps your personal information off new data brokers to your profile that might try to good for a number of linked 50+ data brokers. Incogni already automatically requests you. And mark my words, I will become you. This is truly the stuff of nightmares. An internship culture so intense that it's morphed America's college kids into hardo internship seekers first and students second. But listen, when you finally arrive at being hired as an intern, I mean, these things simply gotta be like the greatest gigs ever, right? I mean, like Corey said, it's the time to build your career. It's a tool of discovery.
Yeah, you're gonna talk about how you're just getting copies and coffee.
Right?
Looking back on it, I'm like, there is nothing I was doing that was that important. It's literally sending PowerPoints around, taking notes on calls, playing around on Excel. Everyone who I know is successful, like at good firms, all of them basically spend their entire summers, for lack of a better word, being miserable, taking on as much as they could.
They moved into a brand new office. He was just like, hey, you guys are gonna build all of our desks. So we built fucking desks.
It was a lot less work than you'd expect. You'd expect to be busy working long hours, but a lot of it was reading the Wall Street Journal and just trying to be able to hold a conversation with some of these people that work there.
And let me tell you, it might seem like nothing, but kids, the older you get, the more you find out that trying to be able to hold a conversation.
Jason wants to tell you about his weekend plans. You may 1. Listen and risk him thinking you're friends. 2. Slowly insert your protein bar into your mouth until suffocation. 3. Say you have to go over there and just walk away. 4. Die of dysentery.
Conversation with the people that work with you is harder than splitting a goddamn atom. But broadly, it seems like despite whatever importance internships hold down the line, and despite their pay or the effort put into actual,
I mean, that pay was crazy. $150 to $200 an hour. Are you fucking kidding me?
getting them, a lot of places have no clue what to do with these corporate cuties when they finally spawn in your office. Unlike my intern Lucas, who I have pushing that boulder up the hill for very
Lucas, please have the boulder rolled to the top of the hill by end of day. Or tomorrow, please do the same.
legitimate reasons that he will figure out once he is done. However, I have come across one problem.
Look, you got people fucking looking over like, huh? Wait, huh? Wait.
Prominent exception to the wayward directionlessness that fills many an intern summer. Partying.
The people that were going out were getting obliterated, like just drinking.
I mean, pointless thing, moving forward into a new chapter of your life, getting an insane fucking salary. You're young.
Welcome to so-called Intern Row, a loose conglomerate of popular watering holes among the intern class in Manhattan's Lower East Side, found in a quadrant of streets that sound just like your office's 4 new Nepo hires: Ludlow, Orchard, Rivington, and Stanton. While traversing these grounds, I was a little scared one of these business cherubs would come out and bite my leg. So I called in a little expert backup from Lydia Moynihan, a reporter for the New York Post who's extensively covered.
Ooh, the New York Post. That's crazy. New York Post? That insane right-wing rag? You're going to bring out somebody from the New York Post? And now, I mean, as a reporter trying to get a job, you might try to go anywhere. It doesn't mean that she's a bad person, but interesting.
Young professionals living it up in the city. Lydia, how are you?
Pleasure.
Thank you for joining us here.
I'm so glad to be here as an anthropologist explaining intern.
Also, the weirdly staged, probably purposely weird on their part, because Good Work likes making jokes. Introduction when it's not actually an introduction, because even says top corner, not staged, right? Yeah, because these are the things that you see all the time in interviews and shit. You'll see like the door opening from inside the house, and they say, "Hi, I'm so and so from NBC or whatever. I'd love to talk to you today." And it's like, motherfucker, you've already talked to her. Your cameraman is in her home, at the inside, seeing you open the door. You've obviously been here already. They're mic'd up, right? Also, hilarious job with the miking going on with the cable exposed and then going into the pocket. Dan, you're standing. Put that shit in your back pocket, bro. Come on, my man.
Culture on Wall Street. I can see this as somebody who didn't grow up here. This is where everyone wants to be. They think this is the height of civilization. It kind of feels like a rite of passage.
Interesting.
You have your bat mitzvah or your bar mitzvah in some cultures in Judaism. And in this culture, you have your rite of passage, which is going to hair of the dog, kind regards, going to brass monkey. But you don't really have any real responsibility as an intern. And I think that's something that we need to note, because you speak with a lot of these interns and there is a lot of pressure to perform. On the other hand, they don't really contribute that much.
Perform, and they're just trying to emanate the energy of excellence at their mundane job. Also, like, if they told me to build desks when I was an intern, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it, right? It's one of those weird things where I was like happy to go work in. So this is aging me for sure. The place had edit suites at Tampa Digital. It had some break rooms for like shitty coffee and whatever. There was bathrooms full of Maxim magazines, which was also a weird distraction from my, burgeoning pubescent body, as well as a whole shipping center in the back, which is also kind of funny because there was a big dub room that had hundreds of VCRs in it, and also like important beta decks and reel-to-reel, literally just magnetic tape on a spool that would go to another spool through all the machines and write the data on it. The official beta carts, beta decks, sounds even older than VHS, but it actually was professional. Digi-betas, whatever, was the good quality media that would be used. But the more cheaper consumer thing was VHS, obviously. So they would record Tony Little's exercise tapes and edit them with the numbers on the screen and the countdowns and, all the little music and whatever bullshit. And then they would dub his tape into a bunch of VCRs to record the master file and have it play out. And then they'd take them, sleeve them into the little boxes, and then send them through a shrink wrapper that would then wrap them. And I would sit there in that room and just kind of help them load up and shrink wrap a bajillion little VHSs for distribution and sale, one way or the other. And it was kind of a neat little room to work in, and it was a good way to just kill a bunch of time. So I'd be sitting around and there's not a lot of edits happening. I'm just kind of like, I'll just go pound out some shit, just do some labor. And they would always be like, "Hey, don't sit in here too long. Don't do this too much. We're here to learn." I'm like, I guess. But they were also cool dudes back there. It was just like, I would have loved to just be like, "Oh, you need to build some desks." Like, fuck yeah, let me just get in there and just build these fucking desks. Also, that was kind of a joke going around even at HSN, because I tried to rebuild the desk at my job once because I did not feel that we were being listened to, and I wanted to be able to. So now I have this weird fascination with desks, I guess. But unrelated to the task at hand, it's just being able to do something, especially something that that you can just do. So they can be like, "Whoa, nice job building all these desks. Thank you, sir." But maybe these like Nepo baby style kids are like, "Ew, build a desk? Never. We have servants build desks. Thank you," or something. I don't know. I could see them being turned off by the idea. But honestly, they should be, because they're supposed to be there to learn shit, right? They got through this incredibly detailed and luck and or connection based process of getting into this highly sought after position, and then all you're doing is building desks. Like, yeah.
In a way, it's sort of blissful because there's no real stressors or responsibilities on your shoulders in terms of the company. But obviously, you do want to get a return off it.
You want to prove you're a hard worker, even though the work you're going to be getting isn't necessarily hard.
No, and I will also...
But despite how sick of a hang this was, I couldn't get out of there without talking to the mayor of Intern Row, AJ Alexitos, owner of the bar, Hair of the Dog, an Intern Row staple where I pulled trig for the first time. We're right at the cusp of intern season. We can see the tidal wave in front of us, and it looks like a bunch of bonobo suits and Bank of America backpacks. How are you preparing for intern season?
Well, we love it. We can't wait for them to come. We're welcome to everybody and anybody. You know, the way we do things, our pricing, it just encourages.
That Red Bull. Red Bulls and booze. And then like, oh, hello, young people fodder. Yes, I will.
You know, all walks of life, so you know, the more the merrier. They're so full of energy, they can't wait to just go out. A lot of them do work, you know, insane, especially like the hedge fund guys. But for the most part, they're just excited to be in the city and, you know, work and party.
Can you usually tell what industries these interns are working in when they're here? Do they usually tell you?
I mean, we always just assume finance, but, you know, it's a mix between marketing and finance.
Why the assumption of finance?
That's just the classic bro look in the city.
Is there a giveaway for that at all?
You know, like you said, the Bank of America backpack, the swag, the Patagonia vest, yeah, the slacks, white socks.
Patagonia vest. That's what they were called. Yeah. When back, you know, I don't know, 5 streams ago, looking at the Palantir video, the guy talking about how they kill people that oppose them as they collect mass data and, you know, do the most insane shit, and now they're doing even more insane shit in the Trump administration. But all the little weird CEO types sitting around him wearing the Patagonia vests, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of interns are curious what the advice might be from the owner of their favorite bar in New York City. What's your advice to interns as they come here this summer?
You know, just, you know, treat your bartenders with respect, you know, treat your neighbors with respect, and come in and have a good time. That's really what it's all about.
Come in, have a good time. That's really what it's all about. Much like me throughout this investigation.
I wonder if they use different cameras for different parts of the shot. Nerding out. This is a shot inside. Maybe it's shot without a picture profile, without a LUT, if you will. Because they do a transition from this scene to the next scene.
Come in and have a good time. That's really what it's all about.
And then, oh, wow. Do they double up the LUT in that transition? Because that scene gets cooked. And then this scene is cooked. And then once the thing goes away, it uncooks.
Come in.
Uncooked. You know, it changes. But maybe that's intentional, because they do have that, like, when they first pause, they have that like really darkened look. So maybe that's intentional and not an editing error.
Have a good time. That's really what it's all about. Much like me throughout this investigation, I imagine many of you interns will be sitting at your place of work this summer thinking, what the hell is the point of all this? Folks, the shortcomings of internships are about as glaring as the summer sun upon my Anglo-Saxon forehead. We now have a system in a few massive, influential industries where people who are basically still children feel like they need to force themselves into a highly exclusive, broadly inaccessible, and
age breakdown updated 2025 ethereal concept. I like to call it a larva, but sure, yeah, fetus, but this is even before child. 25, teen to 35, person in their 20s, 35 to 40, not sure, didn't ask, old. I mean, honestly, just throw old right here. Just go from teen to old. That's it. It's over.
Possibly competitive pipeline so that one day they maybe might have a chance at possibly getting an entry-level job out of college. I mean, they're already doing college. What the fuck is college for? Internships are a wild, wild stallion. And I think it's about time we reached into our saddlebags, grabbed our assless chaps, and broke this bronco once and for all. Obviously, we need to make entry-level jobs in the corporate world attainable through a less horrible process. But until the powers that be come to their senses and make it so you don't have to apply to learn how to bank when you are 19 years old, interns, now that you're here, just try and have a responsible good time. And once you acquire some clout in your corporate future, just remember how horrible this entire thing was and do your best to make the internship process a little less absurd. If you can do all of that and treat your bartenders with some goddamn respect, then I guarantee you'll turn out all right. Which is what this is all about, after all. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
A lot of weird rocks, just big boulders sitting around.
And now, real selections from the Investment Banking 400 Questions Guide. What's the riskiest thing you've ever done? Don't say cocaine or any other drug / porn-like / illegal activity. What's your
What? Why not?
greatest fear about investment banking? Do not give an actual legitimate fear. Losing your friends / significant other, gaining weight, working too much, hating your life, getting laid off, etc. Why did you get a C in accounting? Don't even try to make up an excuse unless it's a really good one. For example, your parents both passed away that semester. Why are you so old?
Those are actual questions? Yeah, are those tips? Legitimately tips? That's insane. Also, what the fuck? My own video, my vertical live feed is just like in the fucking thing. And I'm in my own recommendations twice. Why? Why? Yo, how insane do they think I am? Design theory, convenience is destroying culture. We're just literally going to go down a rabbit hole. I don't normally... Algorithm knows me. Yeah, I mean, the algorithm knows that I'm, like, conceited. I don't think I've even watched... No, I watched a VOD once. Good morning. We are morbid and hard out here. Okay, I'm actually kind of interested in the Palantir one. So let me. Oh wait, you can't. Oh, you can. You can't open. Sometimes these like links in here, you can't. Like when they're like JavaScript or whatever, they don't like the links. Don't like because I have to use middle mouse. So like the mouse wheel, like click in to open things up in new tabs. Eventually, I keep forgetting that thing with the channel point redeem pops up. I was going to try to remove that, but oh my god, there's a new daily dose of pets too. Well, add that to the list of things to watch. Okay, let's hit up the Palantir one just because we talked about Palantir with the fuck. Now I forgot again. Patagonia vest thing. Yeah, and then I'm actually kind of interested in this one just because the thumbnail is Severance, right? And it has a cool title, and the fact that the channel is called Design Theory. The channel name is more important than I've realized in a lot of things, because sometimes when you're looking at something, you don't know what it is, but then you see what the channel is, which is why when I was making my channel idea for my channel that will have actual videos, not just like weird stream content stuff, I wanted to name it not just like Sniff and J, but I figured still Sniff related just because whatever, that's my last name. It's the theming I have going on. So I was calling it Sniff Test, as in like the topic will be a Sniff Test. Yeah. Also, the title, well, sometimes like the thumbnail will say something here like censorship crusade and then how copyright law kills free speech. Like the thumbnail will say something and then the title will also say something, and combined there is a specific pairing. Sometimes they'll have nothing on it, and then it's the title works with the picture really well. Like here, so we talked to men. Why young men are doing this. Like they kind of work hand in hand. Well, this one's just him and Palantir, and then it says, what did they actually do? You know, there's just kind of like an interesting different ways of getting your message across to your audience, whether it's just straight up images or it's a combination of words with your title words working together. Like it wasn't lungs. What wasn't lungs? I need to know. The hardest problem in evolution. Oh, wow. Interesting. So that kind of leads into that, you know. Do you remember, did you ever browse Imager years ago? And there would be like, you'd be going through Imager, and you would end up on an image and it says like, you know, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing, and it says, you didn't even read the title. And then you read the title and it says, now look in the bottom left-hand corner of the image. And it says, you know, like, gotcha or whatever. Like now you get punched in the knee or whatever. Like it's one of those things where you go, oh, fuck. Like there's a certain hierarchy to how your eyes will hit a piece of media. And you would fall. I mean, I've noticed that whenever they set it up, they're true. I hit everything in order because I didn't see anything until I saw the one thing, you know? It's very lib, though. Oh, it's insanely lib. Especially back then, it was very lib. I imagine it might be getting a little less lib now. I imagine just a little less lib. But the lib places, especially during a Trump administration, the lib places are just going to be like, you know, I'm sure Stephen Colbert is like getting killer ratings again, right? Because he can just say Trump and then shh. And as he like then says, Pete Buttigieg is good, right? And everyone goes, yeah, you know.
When today's...
Okay. Oh, see, he's wearing his trench coat. This must have been a while ago. 3 months ago? Okay, not that long ago, but a little long ago. Let me grab the title, or sorry, the URL. I got to put it over here. I mean, back in 2016 to 2020, I was pretty lib. Just because I was beginning to pay attention to politics. And I had always kind of been like, well, Democrats are the ones that like seem to appreciate the basic human rights. So it was an easy thing to do. And then it was around 2021, late 2021, when I started to get more and more progressive pilled. And it's insane because my brother was progressive pilled back in like 2012 and shit. It's kind of insane how my brother's only like 18 months older than me, but he was so much more mentally mature and awesome. I credit a huge portion of my self-improvement and lack of going down the wrong pipeline or whatever because of him specifically. Back when I had watched Ethan Klein's H3H3 podcast when it like first kind of launched and he was interviewing PewDiePie and shit, he did a Jordan Peterson piece and I was like, this was a really interesting conversation. I just somehow randomly brought it to my brother. And he's like, whoa, that Jordan Peterson dude, he's a kook. You got to watch out for that. That can get really dangerous really fast. And I was like, I don't know. He seemed really, really level-headed. And he was talking about all the SJWs and stuff. And he's just like, you can hear me saying this shit way back when, right? And he's just like doing his best to not like, you know, knee-jerk reaction, snap and call me a piece of shit or whatever. And just walked me slowly. And then it took a while, but the words in the head slowly ticked away, and then I'm like, you know what? This isn't right. This isn't a good thing. Which is another reason why I try my best to, even when people are being complete jerks, I try my best to talk them off the ledge in a not incredibly inflammatory way. Also, I'm not confident / 100% knowledgeable enough to like completely like how Hassan will call people dumbasses or whatever, because I don't have the deep background knowledge, or Mike from PA will call people, you know, fucking morons and be willing to debate literally any conservative because he knows every talking point they're going to bring up and how to properly counteract them and prove that they're full of shit. I don't have that same thing, but I do have just my experience breaking. Well, those are also ableist. True. I mean, technically, right? In the most empathetic way possible, you would avoid those terms. I say people are crazy, and it's like, ooh, if I was being the most ethical or the most empathetic individual, I would never use those terms or whatever it is, which is not an incorrect statement. But then also, if you're trying to break through to that 2012, 2016 version of myself, you're not going to do a good job of getting through my incorrectly established bullshit detectors if you start being as empathetic as we all should be, but the society has not made me, has not conditioned me to appreciate that. So then I would turn off when somebody is going extra hard. There are people at my local DSA, I'm sure that many people have familiar situations of this, where they are 10 times more empathetic to me. And that's almost off-putting, even as a person who understands the way you're supposed to be. But it's just like, dang. You know, the deep down Florida man bully inside of me is like, what a pussy. I don't know. It's just, I shut it up. I keep it low, but it's just like, I can't stop it. It's kind of like how when you've been trained to have, you know, white supremacist thoughts, whatever, you know, you're just like, you remember it's like an intrusive thought. Maybe because I have minor intrusive thought problems, it's a part of it. Where the same way that like, oh, look, it's Aziz Ansari. And I'm like, wasn't he canceled at one point during the Me Too movement? But I remember there was something about it, but I don't remember what, but I remember he was canceled. Like, that'll stick in my head. The moment he's brought up, the moment I think about him, that just a huge flash, like, you know, Phoenix Wright, objection. It's like, he's canceled. And, you know, I don't even remember if it was a legitimate, I don't remember the circumstances of it. I just remember there being some back and forth on it. But then again, there was back and forth on Harvey Weinstein. So that's unjustified. So, but like, I can't escape how it just flashes in my head. And it almost distracts me from the next sentence because all I can think is that moment flashing in my head. So when somebody is being, you know, in an SJW, or when someone's being, you know, incredibly empathetic because they're even more kind soul than me, I had that flash of like the old version of me that I like temper down and go, no, shut up. But it distracts me from the other word that are being said because I just can't stop it. Again, that could be the intrusive thought part of my brain kicking in the gear. Hopefully one day I can get past that. But yeah, I mean, hey, we're all human beings, right? We all, in the same way that we all should have empathy for others, you need to have empathy for yourself, and you need to understand that you're not perfect. We're all trying to get better. Every day I want to be a better person tomorrow. I was always really proud of myself for making huge strides in both my political orientation and also my ability to control my anger issues and make sure that I'm treating my loved ones with care. Because I found for a while something to do with like the like you have to be polite in public is like always drilled in as a part of my personality. Don't make a scene. Never be a loud kid crying in the supermarket. You know, don't you know, you push your chairs in. You got to be a good person in public. That was drilled in me so hard that I was actually a better person to strangers and a better person in public than I would be at home with my loved ones. I would treat my brother more, you know, negatively than I would out in public around other friends. I would even like treat my girlfriend and her wife with a little bit more like rudeness at home, you know, and it's just like, but if we were out in public or a friend was over, I wouldn't act that way because of that, like, programming. And it's just like when I'm like, wait a minute, why do I do this? Why would I act the worst to my closest loved ones? Just because they're close to me, then that allows them to get treated worse than others? That's completely backwards and opposite, right? And I was proud of myself for realizing it and then doing my best to stop it, and the very least just addressing it when I feel it happening, so that way they know it's not their fault and it's my fault, and I'm going to try to work on it, and I'm making strides. But also knowing that that's not the end. Just because I felt like I did that once or twice, or I did that and made a change to 1% of me, there's still more that I need to be aware of and to improve. Self-improvement's a thing that I really like, but also it's never a completed job, or it should not be considered a completed job. Obviously, be proud of what you've done and you know the improvements you've made, because that'll help you want to keep going for more. But yeah. I'm not knowledgeable enough to be the ableist and rude man. Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. Because my mother had that thing where she was raised in the certain era, because she was born in like, what, 62? So she would always tell me, I don't see color. Like, she told me that when she first worked, you know, as a waitress, whatever, she didn't even know some of her she didn't even know that some of her coworkers are black until they mentioned it. And she's like, oh, really? I didn't even notice that you were black, which is kind of like insane to me. But it is like that was considered the empathetic version is to I'm not racist because say that the other day. Oh, like I don't see color. Yeah. Now, again, it comes from an incredibly old version and an outdated version of being empathetic because they think that's important. But I remember I was even talking to her when she talked about that, and I was like, okay, I see what you're saying, Mom, but there's a problem when you don't see color because of the base inequalities that we have in our life. And when you say, I don't see color, you're not seeing that somebody is starting at the starting line and somebody else is starting 50 yards behind them. And when you say you don't see color, you're acting like you can't see that difference. And then you can't act accordingly to that. And it's also acting like there are no current problems to this day, even beyond the starting line. So while it is better than saying, I hate them, ethnicities or whatever, it is still not getting to the end goal that we're trying to do. And then she seemed like receptive to that. And I was like, sick. I don't know how well it actually stuck. What did my dad say about it? We solved racism. What do you mean? Slavery ended a long time ago. Civil Rights Act was in the 60s. The insane shit. And then he would say, like, I lost my job, or I lost my application for a job. I did not get picked for a job because of affirmative action. And he told me this for years, and I believed him. And then at one point, as I got more contentious, and I was just like, Dad, do you know who got the job? He's like, no. Like, Dad, do you even know if they were black? No. And I'm like, well, how the fuck could you say it was affirmative action? He just believed that he deserved it. And the only reason that he would not get it is because point to the bad thing, I'm actually kind of baffled that he even said it, because he's done a good job of like rewriting history. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like he has the Babylon Bee bookmarked on his desktop. He laughs at Gutfeld and he watches it every day. What else? There's a whole bunch of stuff. He's got like Ron DeSantis memes printed out as post-it notes and shit. It's like he picks up some of the most cringe garbage. That like something that like a song would pick up because he thinks it's so stupid, and he picks it up. He hasn't gone to a Trump store that I'm aware of, but they told me once that they went to a Trump rally and drove around and waved flags, which is something that I knew for a fact that they would. I mean, that's the most anathema thing that I could ever imagine my parents doing. And my mom did it, and it's just like, oh my God. That was a point where they were being honest with me, or they let it, they shared it with me, and then I immediately thought less of them as human beings to some degree, because they were no longer the parents I knew when I grew up. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I appreciate them being honest, but like, damn, that fucked them up in my head, because God damn, that was crazy. My mother used to care so much, as a person who survived different forms of sexual assault and kidnapping and shit, and like cared about the rights of women and things. And then, the grab him by the pussy rapist dude, she's like, I support him. That's so fucked to me that would happen. That's so fucked. God damn. Just thinking about it. I mean, I, to some degree, can blame the Democrats for being such pieces of shit, worthless fucks, that they would not see them as their ally, because honestly, they're not. But still, I mean, whatever. Any excuse to turn it onto the fucking liberals for being shitheads. Okay, Palantir. This won't be a problem that's getting worse and worse for our lives, right? Right? Let's see. Making sure I had the right thing pinned. Pretty sure I do. I sure do. All right.
Rich and famous tech companies talk about what they do. They usually say something like, we are connecting the world. And by that they mean we are creating a sexualized Farmville that is as addictive as opioids. So when I learned that last year's best performing stock by growth was a Silicon Valley unicorn by the name of Palantir, I was
Holy shit, I did not know that.
pretty sure I knew what they were up to. Probably they made a streaming service called Boo Boo, a housing rental app called Housely, or earbuds called Doinkers or whatever. But just to be sure, I looked them up, at which point it became clear that these cats are a little different from the techies who...
It looks like they have like the hit tracker on the Call of Duty all over the map there. There's that really funny like copy paste thing where like, you know, oh yeah, you can watch it on Glorp. Oh yeah, you can see it on Tingle. Yeah, it's streaming right now on Favga. You know, like just the most insane, worthless names for things that don't exist, you know.
typically cross my desk.
We built this kill chain, the digital kill chain.
This dude, oh God, there's like a whole like batch of fucking tech freaks. The Sam Bankman-Fried. This is the Sam Bankman-Fried of like the Gen X and or late boomer that is, or I guess late Gen X, whatever. He's probably Gen X. Where it's like, yeah, just have messy hair and be crazy and wear a sloppy, disgusting t-shirt with my emaciated, pale body, disheveled and disgusting, but I'm rich as fuck and everybody will just suck up to me.
Different from the techies who typically cross my desk.
We built this kill chain, the digital kill chain. How do you defend your country and kill your enemies? Our product is used on occasion to kill people.
Two things here, folks. First, I have wet my pants. Second, what?
They're like, you kill people on occasion, quadrupled your stocks. Up you go.
As always, I began my investigation on Bing.com, which I used to type in Google.com, which I used to search for Palantir.com.
Oh,
a quick spin
brutal.
through their site will tell you that Palantir is all about AI-powered automation for every decision and delivering mission-critical outcomes for the West's most powerful institutions. Sentences that boldly ask the question, what if Genghis Khan and Ronald Reagan had a baby who wrote mind-numbingly boring marketing copy? However, I did come across one thing in my research that even...
I love stock footage of bad tech things. Like, that's just a pair of safety goggles. And they're like, yeah, just tap it. And then we'll, like, put tech in front of it. There was a... Man, this is a complete tangent. Well, not a complete tangent. So there was like some bullshit, stupid, I don't know, AliExpress, future glasses. There was some stupid ass thing. This is literally it. There's some stupid product that is a piece of acrylic with like a really bad nose break and a bunch of like cyber shit etched into it, and then LEDs back by the ear that then project into the acrylic and then light up all the tech shit, right? This is the stupid ass $2 glasses you can get on AliExpress for this stuff, right? And then fuck, did I get rid of that phone? There was some terrible consulting firm that not dispersing because it's true. My HSN was using at one point, and when you'd scroll through all their bullshit marketing data saying what their company did, it was a picture of that person, or not that person, but just somebody using those glasses with the bullshit tech on it, saying we use AI to, you know, improve our world. And I just like the stock image galleries of fucking tech garbage, you know, with ladies because women are pretty to look at and therefore increase your retention value. It's just, I don't know. I find it depressing, but also funny at the same time. And it helps me see through complete worthless trash because it's like, oh, this is trash. They mean nothing. This means nothing. They're selling you nothing. So I guess it provides a slight benefit being able to media literacy that layer of things.
Even I can wrap my noggin around. Whatever Palantir does, it makes them a lot of money.
Palantir stock is booming, absolutely skyrocketing.
Palantir has been a standout this week,
surging 22%.
Hugest outperformers of the last year.
Right now, there is no comparable company.
I'm here bravely outside of the offices of Palantir. Their stock rocketed up 340% in 2024, peaking this winter to give them a valuation of over $250 billion. And although their stock price has dipped since then, they remain right up there with the likes of AT&T, IBM, and those hunks over at Cisco. But
that's crazy. Stocks are made up, dude.
The likes of AT&T, IBM, and those hunks over at
so then when the numbers came up that said, "Yo, your shit is growing 300 and whatever percent," and it wasn't Nvidia. Well, Nvidia was already a very, very high priced stock. So expecting it to break 300 and whatever percent increase is unrealistic because it would have to grow by such a huge margin that it would become unusable, basically, because you can't grow 300% when your thing's already worth $300 a piece, because goddamn, you would never be able to buy one stock or whatever. Not that you buy full stocks anyway, but whatever. That's another metric that's used a lot. Like, we're the fastest growing XYZ in the ZYA industry or whatever. And it means nothing because you just started your company. You were infinitely 0%, right? You were 0% of the market. Now you're 1% of the market. And now you're 0.1% of the market. But still, 0 to 0.1% is infinite growth because divided by 0. You know what I mean? Like, so we're the fastest growing. It doesn't mean shit to me because what does that mean? Like our at corporate meetings, not besmirching because they were true, they would say our app purchases is the fastest growing part of our business, and I'm like, well, no shit, it's new. Anything new is going to be the fastest growing, because the old fashioned call it in by the phone could be growing by a small amount, but if that's where your bread and butter is, that's where your bread is buttered, then 90% of your business comes through that. To make that the fastest growing part of your business, we have to be going bananas on that sector. But when you go from like 100 people using the app to 200 people using the app, you've doubled your activity. You could never double your phone activity. So a part of, like, I guess some language classes or just knowing that people are full of shit made me realize when they would say stuff, it sounds good. And if you're not paying attention and you don't fucking care, or you're just dumb, it sounds really good, but it's all fucking bullshit. It's all made up. It's just sell it, dishonest. It's crazy. So but Palantir having this much market share, AT&T is a data and infrastructure fucking company. They have towers set up across America, subsidized by, the American government to help them build. But regardless, they are a huge portion of our telecom industry and making the country run to some degree. And then Palantir is like, we fucking do AI bullshit with fucking glasses as stock footage. And now they have a larger market cap. It's like how Tesla can have a larger market cap than other car companies that actually produce in a useful amount of cars, because they're a tech company, because they're moving and shaking, they're disrupting, and it's just the whole system is based on this, and this is all fucked and worthless. And that's what sucks, because getting rid of this would crash things, but it's not right. It's wrong. It's not set up properly. Technically setting up Medicare for all would reduce our GDP because we're not paying a bunch of middlemen bullshit and, exchanging money back and forth and making things cost more. By fixing the roads and using government funds, you're not increasing GDP because you're only using a centralized single person to deal with the costs, instead of having multiple layers of weird companies that buy Bob's Barricades to set up the fucking, the rentals of the cones around it, and then a bunch of like side companies that come out and fill things in, and then even just not fixing them at all increases the tire markets of people having busted tires and then having to replace them and get the labor done there. So like you decrease the GDP by making things better. The whole system is based on lies.
At Cisco, but I couldn't let the money distract me. Not now. If I was to truly understand Palantir, I was going to have to take more drastic measures. Like calling people who actually know what they're talking about.
Can you answer that question?
Just thinking about it again, to complete a sidetrack. Him wearing that oversized, stuffy trench coat on the streets of New York with a camera person staring at him not that far away, I would be terrified that he's about to flash his genitals at me, right? Because it's like, that's weird. That doesn't look normal. Why is there a camera there? You don't look like a real reporter. You're this little ginger twink out there. Well, I mean, he might be a little too old to be a twink. He's just... What would he be? It's not a bear. It's not an otter. It's not hairy enough. I guess he's just an attractive man that you're saying is gay in a derogatory way, which I guess is not empathetic. Damn it.
For me here and now, what exactly does Palantir do?
I will say two things. The fact that you're asking that question goes to the heart of the company and the confusion.
You did not answer the question. Oh, wait. I was expecting her to be a part of Palantir for some reason, but now I feel bad for giving her smoke.
Over it and also the mystique of it. Number two is I will tell you what they do. They want to win Defense Department contracts, commercial contracts as well, but I think they have their eye at the prize.
Sharon Weinberger is the Wall Street Journal's national security editor, and much like me, she's been covering the U.S. defense industry for over 20 years.
They got their start going back to 2003 in trying to come up with a data analytics platform. We're in the middle of the war on terror. We're involved in operations in Afghanistan.
Dude, again, another side tangent that I have for being a guy that cares about TV production shit. But not only the low resolution, sort of like blurring that you get, and the interesting little ghosting like around the hairline, that contrast area, but de-interlacing from this era of interlacing, then being digitized and then brought in to our era of progressive scan, and then the errors that come from the de-interlacing that happens, that is going to be early 2000s. Like, old movies have like the weird jumpy film reel with the hairs in it and shit. Each little era has their key markers of what looks like a style, and de-interlacing will be my childhood / young adulthood. That's going to be the lens and the effect. Just like how there is a retro effect and an 80s effect or a sepia effect for different like eras, there's going to become a de-interlace sort of like banding breakdown to make things look like they're from the mid 2000s. And I guess the weird part of my brain, the nostalgia, is interested in it. I mean, I don't even think that you would see the de-interlacing happen in that era, but it's how we look back at that era, which will then become the zeitgeist of how that era we think looked, which is kind of it's an important thing to think about, because if this is happening to this era of media that I can be aware of, and I know other forms of media from different eras, do they actually have that problem that we assume? Did they actually look that way to them? Do those hairs on those old film reels, are those only hairs from age that had now been added post hoc, and they weren't actually that bad then? You know, was even the sepia filter, were they sepia back then, or did they just age into being looking like sepia to us now? Right? These are examples. I don't think that's actually true, because I think pretty sure that had something to do with both the processing of the film back then, as well as the type of silver reliefs, whatever, you know, that made things have a sepia tone. But still, it's a way to think about, did things look like the way I think they looked? Because in reality, the human eye hasn't not changed that much over these few decades, that life was always looking like life. and this how you record life has different markers of it. What a weird and somewhat philosophical look at looking back. Complete unnecessary ADHD tangent.
Involved in operations in Iraq, and what is our number one problem there at the time? It's insurgency, it's roadside bombs, IEDs that were killing U.S. and allied soldiers and infantry on the ground at a really alarming rate. So Palantir came in and said, look, we can take...
Just looking back at the war like that, I've known people. I worked with a person who was like, yeah, I served in Iraq. And like, I would never, A, because it's cringe for many reasons, and B, because even before I gave a shit about things, it just felt weird to say, thank you for your service. It felt so weird to say it. It felt so forced. And then like, I've always hated people saying stuff to me in like the most canned way. I've always hated that. So I kind of assumed that if I was a person who did serve, I would be annoyed when people tell me the canned thing of thank you for your service, and I'd be like, okay, thank you, whatever. And obviously now I definitely don't thank them because it's like, what freedoms were you protecting of me when you were there? And like, I also don't want to talk about them killing children because they might honestly have true PTSD, and they might not have liked that. They also might have liked it, but because they might be a real human with a real soul, I would not want to open up that wound to somebody without knowing for a fact if they're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? So, though you might be justified in saying, you killed babies, you baby killer. If I was poverty drafted or misinformed and had my way into finding myself in the situation and then having to do horrific war crimes or whatever, having somebody yell at me about it may not help me feel compassionate to humanity again, because then they're being super aggro. Not that they don't deserve to be aggro if I did kill children or whatever. Now I'm writing myself as being a baby killer and then wanting people to not be mad at me for it, which is not, none of this is any of the truth. I guess I'm comparing my centrism to say, I want to be empathetic to those who could be empathetic. So therefore I won't call them baby killers, but it's like, wait, I need to call out people that kill babies. I don't know enough about their background to just immediately jump off. So I'm definitely never going to say thank you for your service, especially for this type of war where we're just doing Israel shit in its different form, which is just abhorrent. And but there are people who legitimately think that these are heroes that did this, and they were doing a good thing, going into countries that had nothing to do with 9/11 in any way at all, to completely, fuck and destroy countries, societies, humanity. It's just gross. And then they talk about like, oh, it sure is alarming that there are so many IEDs blowing up these invading, occupying, colonists. It's like, well, I mean, I guess they weren't technically a colony, but they set up a lot of fucking military bases, which you can argue are, hostile colonies. Just thinking back on it, and also how like, you're like, what are you going to do? I grew up 20 years of my adolescence was this. And it was just a part of life. You literally forgot about it. I still have my tax dollars paying to have those military bases that sure are afraid of getting bombed by Iran, or are paying for the Israeli bombs. It's just...
Take all of this information that you're collecting, and the Defense Department collects a whole lot on the battlefield, and integrate it in a database and help you spot bad actors, spot terrorists. That is what they pitch themselves.
To imply that you could be, not only the term terrorist is bullshit, especially in this context, but then to know that your shit, especially back then, was garbage, dog shit. You're dealing with like no information. Data sets that are trained on white people, looking at people from Arab countries with low resolution, zoomed in fucking cameras trying to facial recognition and declare somebody is or is not a air quote terrorist and then sign their death warrant all behind the scenes with a complete jank ass fucking brand new thing. To think that you can feasibly create that this early, say it's actually good, and then sell it to the most murderous group, most murderous power possible, knowing that your shit is shit and it's going to get people killed, is just so many layers of humanity lost, so many layers of fucked up, to the point where I have to believe that they are just so dumb-pilled that they can actually think it's legit. Because the idea that they know it's kind of whatever, but who cares, is just too evil to imagine. I have to imagine they're just fucking stupid. I don't fucking know. Oh my God, it's just too hard to believe.
As help you spot bad actors, spot terrorists. That is what they pitched themselves as doing when they were first sort of coming on the scene in 2003, 2004, and really for the first decade plus of its existence. What they've expanded to today is something much bigger, in some ways more interesting, and in some ways kind of posits them to be more successful, which is they are a problem solver for the Department of Defense. You have a problem, we will solve it.
All right, so here's the deal. Palantir is a data analytics software company who got its start during the War on Terror and today has big ambitions to be the U.S. Department of Defense's go-to problem solver.
The idea of a Silicon Valley company saying we kill things, that we're interested in serving the Department of Defense and the Department of Defense wages war. That was simply unprecedented back in 2003. It was what made them unique. People hadn't seen it, and that they were going to compete with companies that had been around for decades and dominated the market.
The companies Sharon's talking about here are commonly known as the big defense primes. Places like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon. The Department of Defense gives these chillers huge contracts to make fighter jets and stuff.
One of the things that these new companies like Palantir are kind of helping to disrupt, which is probably good, is the system of prime contracting and defense contracting. We have a few big contractors that have these giant...
I should set up a wall of empty bookshelves behind me because I don't read books, to the point that I've almost never read books. Like, I would have this bookshelf wall with 3 bookshelves, and the top left bookshelf would have children's books, ones that I know for a fact I read. Mickey Mouse and the Giant. Well, that was read to me, but I probably read it at least once on my own. Avi, which is a story about a mouse being chased by an owl and his adventures. The Great Escape. Not the one about the World War II camps, but one about a pair of cats called Marco and Polo who are indoor cats and they escape outside for a little bit. And I remember Polo ate a bunch of Christmas ribbon and had to get surgery, and the humans were very upset about it because it was very expensive. Like, I would have like 4 children's books up there of different age ranges because I went to the Scholastic Book Fair and like read Captain Underpants and a few comic books or whatever, and then that would be my entire bookshelf behind me. And I'm acting like I'm a fucking knowledgeable individual. That's kind of a banger in some ways. That's gonna at least add to my keep notes thing where I just say empty bookshelf, maybe kids' books I read, just so that I can have this list of little silly ideas.
Contracts, and they have cost overruns. One reason the Pentagon's budget is so big.
Margaret O'Mara is a historian and professor who studies the modern history of American politics and business and how they overlap.
And this is something that policymakers have been pushing back
Showing
against
off book wall
for decades and trying to rectify. So yeah,
also
having
showing off book wall.
more companies in the ecosystem, that's probably...
Damn it, it's like The Simpsons sometimes where there's too many little jokes dashed in that I don't want to miss because somebody worked hard on them. But then I'm not hearing the words they're saying.
Thing that policymakers have been pushing back against for decades and trying to rectify. So yeah, having more companies in the ecosystem, that's probably really good.
Hey everybody, just popping in here to say happy birthday to Jeremy J. Watkins. Jeremy
Yo, happy
is a
birthday.
man whose
It's my affiliate anniversary, and it's your birthday, dude. What up? What's going on?
information I bought from a third-party police pullovers.
Incogni's been fucking paying these guys for months.
Will end up being personal and sending them add any new. Aha, right on. And if you go until I printed, Palantir is at the.
I'm sure they did a good job making a bunch of jokes, but you know, I have a limited amount of time today. I have a thing I need to shower because look at me. So I'm thinking maybe 12:30, about an hour left.
Guest bathroom? Then check out Incogni. Palantir is at the front of a new group of companies who say they are going to disrupt the old, slow, bloated defense primes with their new, efficient, innovative, user-friendly Silicon Valley style. Because, you know, you either die making boring old fighter jets or you live long enough to see someone come along with their own swarm of autonomous attack drones.
They've made a ton of really senior hires from US government agencies, and also a number of really senior Palantir executives have been appointed by Trump to senior government positions.
Palantir has been hiring well from, I guess, the pool of people that know how the government system works.
Tabby Kinder is the Financial Times West Coast finance editor, and Cynthia O'Murku is an investigative reporter for the FT. Together.
An interesting wrinkle in the world we live in today. You watch news, you get spin, you get the wool pulled over your eyes. Whether you're watching MSNBC, CNN, or even Fox News, right? You get a certain layer of bullshit. But a long time go-to strategy to get through the bullshit is to watch the financial shows or read the financial articles, because they cut through a lot of the bullshit, because they don't have time to beat around the bush about our defense strategies and trying to bring democracy to a region, because that's all bullshit. And they say this war is going to be good for profits. It is specifically going to shift the energy sector into a growth pattern, and they just get right down to the nitty gritty, because these fucking ghouls are looking at these things with only dollar signs in their eyes, and the death and destruction that goes around it has very little to do. And if anything, it is a bull indicator. You know what I mean? And so seeing the financial people being like, we know what's going on here. We're watching the administration massagers get into place and work their way deeper and deeper into the system, which means they're on a growth trajectory because of these things, where other places would just sort of not even talk about this company. It's just one of those things where you can gain a lot, even if you don't give a fuck about stocks. You can actually gain a lot of perspective on, at the very least, how all of the fuck asses in the higher up sectors in general, from both the corporate versions as well as the money makers and or policy makers, are actually paying attention to this shit.
Together they wrote a piece about how successful Palantir has been at landing government contracts, pointing out that the company has done quite a good job of cultivating, shall we say, intimate, toe-tickling relationships with governments.
Palantir has been built on people from government. They are obviously informed. They're people that work on these really crucial missions and in the armed forces and all those sorts of places where Palantir has traditionally sold its business.
And boy, have these boys been selling some business. Palantir has landed over $1.3 billion in Department of Defense contracts since 2009. This is for stuff like the Army's Vantage data analytics platform, this James Bond-style AI satellite computer suitcase, an AI-powered drone system called Project Maven, and Titan, the Army's first AI-defined vehicle, which promises to do things like reduce sensor-to-shooter timelines, reduce soldier workflow burdens and cognitive load, and enable long-range precision fire for the modern battle space.
So, reduce time from sensor to shooter. We're just going to say that we're pretty sure We are willing to say we are pretty sure this is an enemy, whether it's a combination of faster data analyzing or just reducing of the timer specifically, or combinations of both. How confident you can actually be doesn't really matter. It's just whether they can reach the air quote important threshold and then open fire on that individual.
Sensor to shooter timelines, reduce soldier
workflow burdens and cognitive load. This human needs to decide, is this a threat or is this just a civilian? Don't you worry about that, worker. Cognitive load, you need to think about whether or not you want to pull the trigger. Don't think, soldier. Don't think. That's just fucking, corporate speak about synergizing your vertical integration workflow. Does just mean that you're going to shoot faster, think less.
Workflow burdens and cognitive load, and enable long-range precision.
Enable long-range precision fires for the modern battle space. Shoot from further distances. I mean, that's not... Novel AI-defined vehicle to provide deep sensing capability. It's basically just saying that we're going to say that we can somehow be still valuable target acquisition, whether it's good or bad, or we should or should not fire from even further ranges. And then we're saying that we're going to hit the target that we're saying we're going to hit. Just not, I'm assuming not realistic parameters, but they're just acting like it is. It's just because they're going to do collateral damage, and they're not even going to get a proper target read on something even further away.
Fire for the modern battle space. Basically stuff that not only goes vroom vroom and pew pew, but also beep boop beep. Scary shit here, folks. But Palantir's government contracts extend well beyond the military. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the U.S. contracted Palantir to track outbreak data and set up a system to distribute vaccines. More controversially, Palantir reportedly helped Immigration and Customs Enforcement with all sorts of stuff, including a surveillance system to plan and organize workplace raids on an original contract worth as much as $127 million. During the 2010s, the New Orleans Police Department ran a secretive partnership with Palantir to test predictive policing technology, which could have been named Minority Report if we had any taste.
Stickerman using New Orleans to test its predictive policing technology. Policing technology. I read the word policing as the other word that I said that I already forgot. Thought crimes, future crimes. Also, a city of individuals being used as guinea pigs for this data. Egads, what's this? New Orleans. Well-known city of black and brown people. Sick. There's a lot of recent shit with Palantir getting more and more involved in things and the AI stuff. This accelerationist pathway that we're on better really fucking pump some goddamn leftists into the mainstream, because goddamn, if this just status quos and calms down and moves on and just continues this path, we are so fucking cooked. This has to awaken the masses and cause a dramatic shift. As scary and as fucked up as every one of the insane things that are being pushed by this emboldened, prepared administration of fucking fascists that lost the 2020 election and then spent those 4 years licking their wounds and amassing the most insane freaks to then actually jump on and do as much as they possibly can in these 4 years. If we don't have an equally convicted but completely opposite politically minded socialist, flip We're never going to recover from the insane shit that we're pumping into place. Oh my God. And also just the trickle down of how the actual trickle down. If America stopped being just evil, how that would then improve the rest of the planet. I guess the difficulty comes when we have agencies that are designed to be evil, from like the CIA and even in some ways the FBI. Although they are losing their stees and they're getting fucking they're dog shit now, which is good. So that gives me hope for the possibility. Because the problem is, even if you get something, you might have a JFK situation or something, right? So like even if you're, you know, not that he was particularly like, you know, communist individual, but if there's too much like siloing of individual sectors, so even if the main areas like legislative and executive branches are filled with what the people are demanding, the other long-term heavily invested in right-wing places like the judiciary and then those three-letter agencies, they could fight back and kneecap any progress the same way that they currently are accelerating the progress. ICE, as for example, is going just awful. Oh no. The FBI, thankfully, is full of fucking inadequate fucks. I mean, the fact that they left the metadata on when they edited the thing with Adobe Premiere is just so beautifully incompetent. Again, such a rare chance to have an accelerationist movement full of incompetent fucks that are going to piss off everybody, but then also be so inept that they might not actually be able to completely lock in their impacts. We just so need to make it happen more than ever. What the fucking DSA is going to tell me that they're going to vote on, you know, in their once every other year fucking thing, I don't fucking know. Obviously, the Zoran situation needs to be a gigantic, you know, flare gun in the sky to like get a move on and to do things and to strike while that iron is red hot. So I'm interested to see what it's going to be today, but.
Around the world, Palantir's tech is being used by the Ukrainian military, by the Israeli military for war-related missions, and by the British government to overhaul the technology behind the NHS, England's state-run health service, which oversees one of the biggest repositories of individual patient data in the world.
So in the UK, it became
quite
a controversial, you know, set of contracts that were implemented. The UK government had opened itself up with open arms, or welcomed Palantir with open arms, whereas civil liberty groups and, you know, groups with privacy concerns were a lot more skeptical. I think there's been a lot of concern around Palantir and what it really means for them to provide these services. And, you know, especially privacy advocates have been very concerned about its offerings. And Palantir has pushed against a lot of this concern. But I think it is about transparency and how much access can you get and what can you do behind the scenes that another company cannot, and that is being done outside the purview of the public.
And even with all of this government,
it's another example of the air quote left-wing party that is dog shit and is supposed to be the only thing to stop conservatism, is then actually complicit in all of this. Dear Starmer, Kid Starver. There was a little bit of hope when they won, a bit of a surprise win over deep conservatives, but then just rapidly losing favor. And I'm not an expert on fucking UK shit, but I just kind of hear from afar a few things, and it's just like, God damn it. Europe used to fucking clown on us because we were the hyper-conservative world. You know, everyone said that, oh, even the liberal party you have in America, the Democrats, are actually kind of a conservative in other places, but they're rapidly catching up where that might not even really be fucking valid anymore. Oh my god, dude. Corbyn does starting a new party though, which is the right time for it. At least based off of the past few cycles, it makes the most sense to do it now versus other days. God, I hope it fucking works. I've heard so many good things about Corbyn, to the point where people say that Corbyn's actually better than Bernie as far as like just global leftism in general. So that is exciting. I don't know the timelines of those elections. I'm pretty sure they're always a little bit before us because Brexit happened and we laughed, and then Trump got elected and then we didn't laugh. So I'm hoping that they win a leftist thing somewhere in the UK through that new party, and that'll then embolden us the same way Brexit may have emboldened the freaks here.
Government work lined up, Palantir has still managed to girl boss its way into an impressive book of commercial business. Banks and government regulators use stuff like Palantir's anti-money laundering and customer data tracking products. BP has been a longtime partner, using Palantir's software to support its digital transformation program. Palantir's chief technology officer tweeted last year that the company's AI clients include United Airlines, Lowe's, General Mills, and Do Not Sleep on Tampa General Hospital. By Jove, they've even got their paws in big pickleball. Neighbors, if you think pickleball paddles are loud, just wait till you hear motherfucking Titan rolling down your street. It's the Army's first AI-defined vehicle, folks. Long-range, precision fire for the modern battle space. Overall, Palantir's commercial revenue in the United States jumped by 54% last year. A lot of that momentum driven by Palantir's pivot from data surveillance in their early years to AI products today. Now, the honchos who originally created this sprawling Palantir beast are none other than Peter Thiel and this guy, who looks like if Taika Waititi got electrocuted. His name is Alex Karp. Though Thiel tends to stay in the shadows like the sassy little mystery minx he is, Karp is one of those modern tech CEOs who says a bunch of crazy shit to feverish crowds of employees and retail investors that he calls Palantirians, leading them like mother flippin' Caesar Augustus.
It's definitely been in this kind of meme stock, Reddit, retail, army category for a while. The subreddit for Palantir traders is, I think it's about 100,000 people now. I mean, they refer to Alex Karp, the chief executive, as Daddy Karp. He's really responded to that by saying kind of increasingly, I'm trying to find a polite way to say this, just increasingly kind of out there things in his interviews.
That's right, Tabby. It's always dangerous to start calling rich guys daddy, because you never know what they're going to feel emboldened to say next.
Me as a front man offending half of America.
I don't think in win-lose. I think in domination.
Almost nothing makes a human happier than taking the lines of cocaine away from these short sellers.
I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us.
Now, despite whatever thoughts you have on good old American Fent P, Karp is a tricky figure to pin down. Yes, he partnered with Peter Thiel, the notorious far-right libertarian who backed Trump's 2016 campaign and bankrolled J.D. Vance's political career to build a data surveillance company for hunting down terrorists, all stuff that might be easy to generalize as conservative. But then again, he backed Kamala Harris during the latest presidential election. He
conservative
frequently donates to Democrats. He likes to go trail.
Maggie Goodlander, Democratic Party of Nevada, Richie Torres. Hey, I recognize that name. Richie Torres, Open Secrets. Israel. It's Israel. Harris was a major supporter of Israel and creating the most lethal military. It's pretty clear to me.
Running and loves Denver. All stuff that might be easy to generalize as lesbian. Everybody, I think we got a new type of guy on our hands.
Karp is someone who comes from a kind of left-wing background. Peter Thiel, who's the founder and really the person behind Palantir, is
who's saying this?
On our hands.
Karp is
I didn't read her title from
someone
before.
who comes from a kind of left-wing background. Peter Thiel, who's the founder.
They say left wing, they mean the Democratic Party. They don't mean fucking progressive, obviously.
And really the person behind Palantir is famous in the Valley for being a very outspoken conservative or a techno-libertarian. You know, they have these really interesting, strange bedfellows in terms of leadership, but I think they have something in common with the old style Valley.
Professor
of the
historian.
Valley of the Cold War era, in that there's this understanding that there is a partnership that's necessary between private industry and the defense establishment.
No. Historian over here fucking just ignoring the goddamn words of, what was it, Eisenhower? Saying like, yo, the military industrial complex of private public partnership in this way is going to lead us into constant wars and funding bombs over schools every time you see a fucking what the fuck? His father's a Jewish doctor, and his mother is an African American artist. Interesting. I guess Vine boom sound effect. What do you mean Jewish doctor is interesting? What about that? What's supposed to be so interesting? Do you saying that a Jewish doctor is supposed to be left wing? Badonk, sound effect. Why is that interesting? What makes you so interested in that? Why is that supposed to be an unheard of thing? I assume you're talking about the fucking Palantir guy. Nothing about anything that he stands for that I've ever seen, including his fucking funding, stands out as a left-wing background. It doesn't honestly mean anything. Also, fucking Kamala Harris's parents were in the goddamn Black Panther Party. What the fuck? It means nothing, unfortunately. I guess, my parents are goddamn crazy conservatives by my definition. So, I don't, Apple can fall far from the tree in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it is important because some people's parents are a positive impact and then they follow in the footsteps. So, like Elon Musk's children are thankfully very separated from him.
Establishment in order to get the best tech in the hands of the U.S. government. It's waxed and waned, but there's always the business of war has always been Silicon Valley's business to some degree.
The relationship that Alex Karp
always, as in like what? The past 20 years? What do you mean always? I mean, also, if you live in a city, it also would be kind of weird, right? Because I've heard what it costs to park your car in New York City. So, not only owning a car is expensive because you got to buy it, and then you need to register it, and then which you got to keep up every X number of years, which is a cost. You got to buy license plates, which is kind of a part of that whole registry thing. And then also insurance, right? A whole other monthly, 6 monthly sort of expense. But then parking, is it? Because even if you have a place, there's no room for your car to exist. So there are, very expensive places. It costs $1,000 a month to park your car or whatever. Perhaps way more than that. I'm going off of an interview I remember from years and years and years ago with H3 interviewing JonTron. So that's when he said it cost $1,000 to keep his car parked in New York. So you just don't have a car, right? Because you're just too poor. And then, yeah, I can understand that because Kara doesn't know how to drive. My wife, And that's from a few different reasons, one of which being PTSD from me almost dying when I was teaching her how to drive. And then also, parents never cared about teaching it. And then it's not just an easy thing that you can just set up. So it's an interesting fact, though. It's unusual in America, for sure, overall.
and Palantir are pushing for between the tech industry and the Department of Defense isn't so much a new status quo as it is a fresh version of an old one. Karp is very open about being a fan of the old school tech industry, one where Lockheed Missiles and Space was the largest employer in Silicon Valley through the 1980s, one where the Department of Defense built the original internet, one where Oppenheimer's Manhattan Project brought together the finest scientific and engineering minds in the U.S. to collaborate with the government. In his new book, which I read on the subway and was then immediately hit on by a very forward attack drone, Alex Karp argues that the tech industry has lost its way.
He was hoping some reactions and then get it.
Focusing on consumer products.
Okay, now I need the...
Immediately hit on by a very forward attack drone, Alex Karp argues that the tech industry has lost its way over the last...
Tech industry has lost its way. The United States, as a dying empire, true, whose slow descent could not be allowed to stand in the way of their own rise in the new era's gold rush. Is that supposed to be, I guess, like the founders who created these companies in many cases viewed the United States as a dying empire? So is that supposed to be the left-wing perspective because they're seeing it honestly? Perhaps that's what they might be getting a portion of that. Many of them essentially abandoned any serious attempt to advance society to ensure that human civilization kept inching up the hill. The prevailing ethical framework of the Valley, a techno-utopian view that technology would solve all of humanity's problems, has devolved into a narrow and thin utilitarian approach, one that casts individuals as mere atoms in a system managed and contained. Made strategists mistake of casting themselves as existing essentially outside the country in which they were built. The founders who created these companies, in many cases, viewed the United States as... I see. Ethical? The prevailing ethical framework of the Valley. I guess perhaps they mean their ethical framework. It's a lack of ethics, but it's their version of an ethical framework. And was this the dude? Alexander Karp wrote this book, yeah. The Technological Republic. Hard power, soft belief in the future of the West. Is he trying to say it as a negative thing? Because that would be another way you can imagine people would be seeing his views. But he's embracing it specifically. He's just saying it out loud, which is kind of wild to me.
Last few decades, focusing on consumer products that essentially abandon any serious attempt to advance society. He writes that the software industry should rebuild its relationship with the govt, and while the blending of business and national purpose makes many uneasy.
I don't know who Andre Indigola is. Igundula. Is that the AI? He has made it mean AI means that person? The blending of business and national purpose.
It is now the job of Silicon Valley to defend the West. And it's here that Karp has differentiated himself from his 21st century tech contemporaries with how open he...
I want to read the caption there. We create Singbo to help you make friends. Dumbass tech CEO who's there to collect data, Mark Zuckerberg style, whatever, right?
He's differentiated himself from his 21st century tech contemporaries.
What that opening is about patriotism is what he's about to say. Americans are the most loving, God-fearing, fair, least discriminatory people of the planet. Just complete lies, totally not left-wing whatsoever. And they want to know if you're waking up and thinking about harming American citizens or if American citizens are taken hostage and kept in dungeons. And want to know that if you're waking up and thinking about harming Americans or American citizens, or if American citizens are taken hostage and kept in dungeons, or if you're a foreign power sending fentanyl to poison our people, something really bad is going to happen to you and your friends and your cousins and your bank account and your mistress or whoever was involved. Is that an actual fucking quote? World Economic Forum. Welcome to the New World Order.
With how open he is about both patriotism and making tech products for killing. But his peers are...
Like, that sounds like a thing that you would make fun of him by saying that's what he's saying, but he may have legitimately just fucking said that.
starting to follow suit.
Silicon Valley conquers the Pentagon as defense tech explodes. Yep. Defense tech is blowing up Silicon Valley's beliefs. Silicon Valley's vain, fake PR beliefs. Let's be real. The tech fucking fucks in Silicon Valley were never goddamn leftists or whatever. They pretended to be, you know, anti-racist shitheads, but just look at them. Look what they do and look what they say. Blowing up their beliefs. My ass. They're all fucking weird libertarian shitheads.
The Valley has always had these ties with Washington, D.C., but often has been very low-key about it and coy about it and pretended that, oh, we don't do anything with those people over there.
Yeah, which is why they were so guffawed when they were being brought in front of Congress to talk to them and say, like, what do you mean? I'm just, Will me, my Will Facebook. I'm Will Mark Zuckerberg. What do you mean? Why would you ever want to question me about we're friends?
They're like, we don't care about politics. It matters nothing to our business. We're a free market miracle. And in the background, they're like, can I have this tax break? I'm interested now. It's just more overt. And now I think there's a more broader public consciousness of like, oh, wait a minute. People like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, they get a lot of federal contracts.
Now, despite Karp and Palantir's very real momentum, it doesn't...
Like the world could be changed by just a couple of heart attacks, you know what I mean? Just in general. Like, I would always talk about being at work and how it's important that we don't... Because there's a certain sort of trend in the engineering field, at least in the, tech, IT... systems engineer kind of world, where each individual worker kind of holds their knowledge close to the chest and keeps it from others. They don't seem to relish in sharing that information with other employees. It's some kind of job security thing, some kind of also I've noticed, at least in my anecdotal evidence, that they themselves don't know as much as they put off to their higher ups. And when you sit down with them to work with them on stuff or to learn from them, you really quickly see how much they're just kind of winging it and Googling it and just kind of doing their best and hoping that no one else pays attention because no one else is really supposed to work on this. So it's a combination of incompetence and just trying to keep their gate kept. Now I somehow forgot where I was going with that, just because I was thinking back to
They get a lot of federal contracts.
Now, despite Karp and Palantir's very real momentum, it doesn't mean that they are
interested now. It's just more overt. And now I think there's a more broader public consciousness of like, oh, wait a minute. People like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, they get a lot of federal contracts.
Now, despite Karp and...
Shit, how the fuck did I forget the point I was coming up with? God damn. I'm medicated and everything. This shouldn't happen. And that last couple of sentences did not jostle the memory again.
Palantir's very real momentum, it doesn't mean that they are that close to revolutionizing the defense industry and unseating those old defense primes.
One of the things in RTX business, that's crazy. One of the things to a trip to getting out of those weird brain loops, something that a Vsauce video talked about was how sometimes you can even have like a mass, not a psychosis, but like a mass memory loop where everyone's like, wait, what's the guy who was in that movie who looks like so-and-so or whatever? You'd say it out loud and everyone's like, oh yeah, I can picture him. I know you're talking about. Why can't I think of his name? There's a weird thing that is believed to be because the way your brain saves synapses and does things. Sometimes if you get stuck on like, he just looks like this guy, but I can't think of his name. And that's the loop that you've got stuck in. And then when you share that with others, when they begin to think about it and they start from that same context, they also get stuck in the same loop. And everyone's kind of just like, the more you think about it, the more you get stuck in that rut and you'll never get out. And one of the more, one way that seems to have been helpful, if this is actually the way it works, is you ignore it, move on, and then later on, when you rethink of the situation, you've undone the rut, and then you can zap straight back to the previous synapse you're looking for. Is kind of how it was heavily dumbed down for the audience of YouTube watchers. But that was one of the interesting things. It's just a way to think about, like, if you're thinking of a thing, just stop thinking about it and try to move on, and then it might just come to you.
They have yet to prove that they can build a major weapons system better than a Lockheed Martin, Boeing, or Raytheon. They may have their own views on that, but when I look across at like what's being used in Ukraine on a mass scale, that is not yet the Palantirs or Andurils of the world. Doesn't mean they won't do it, but they have yet to prove they can.
Nonetheless, it is possible that Palantir will be the future, and if they are, then the approach that they have taken to rise to prominence. Well, this would all mean an entirely new paradigm for how American defense companies operate.
You don't typically see the heads of Lockheed Martin or Raytheon giving opinions about how the world should be ordered.
They definitely do. It may not be literally written into like a book like this, but they definitely do.
Lockheed Martin is not trying to appeal to the day traders or to the meme stocks or to any of that.
Okay.
Palantir
Sure.
they're kind of trying to sell themselves to the nation writ large. I think that is part of what is new in this.
So, but that's the thing. The fucking meme stalkers and the Redditors that like that kind of garbage, the more the regular people see it, they go, what the fuck? Gross. What? No. That doesn't play with the goddamn, parents and bus drivers and shit. That don't work, But in these echo chambers or these fucking fart boxes that they all sit in and huff and get to play big power with, it seems important to those people. But like, I'm happy the more we talk about Palantir and what it does and what it stands for, and seeing that freak stand up there and act like he owns a goddamn world, because yes, show that to people. The more they see it, the more they will be disgusted by it.
Era is Silicon Valley companies saying working with the Pentagon is not a dirty business. It helps national defense. These are good things to do. And clearly their message is working. Will that work in the long term? We'll see.
Indeed, we will see. For now, though, in the meantime, I've got my eyes on you, Palantir, and I encourage all my fellow citizens to do the same. For if a defense company thinks that it can... Oh, shit.
And now for a dramatic reading of Palantir Reddit posts. Threw 1.6 mil into Palantir because the CEO's head looks like my grandpa balls. So, are we warmongers? Palantir is a good stock, but is it an ethical investment?
See, even the
Hamas
freaks
really took us to the moon. 0 upvotes, 30 comments. Software and war, fire emoji. I'm gonna come. Let's go to the moon.
OpenAI is about both patriotism and making tech products for killing. But his peers are starting to follow suit.
The Valley has always had these ties with Washington, D.C., but often has been very low-key about it and coy about it and pretended that, oh, we don't do anything with those people over there. They're like, we don't care about politics. It matters nothing to our business. We're a free market miracle. And in the background, they're like, can I have this tax break? I'm interested now. It's just more overt. And now I think there's a more broader public consciousness of like, oh, wait a minute. People like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, they get a lot of federal contracts.
Now, despite Karp and Palantir's very real momentum, it doesn't mean that they are that close to revolutionizing the defense industry and unseating those old defense primes.
They have yet to prove that they can build a...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the there was something to that just doesn't click in my head anymore. So just so I don't take too long.
This complicated.
I wanted to see, oh god, this would actually be too long technically. So instead,
hello everyone.
Pet video. End the day with pet video because what did I hit C again? Motherfucker. Oh my god. Avatar image. This click brain bleach or eye bleach. Brain bleach sounds worse. What am I looking for? This is what I'm looking for. Give me my button. Okay. We're hoping to end around 12:30, so we'll watch our fun little pet video, and then I'll be back tomorrow. I apologize for waking up a little late today. Also, setting up all the goddamn YouTube stuff sucks. Whatever. I think I should still do it. The more I practice I get it, the faster I'm able to do it. Technically, I could also probably set it up the day before. That way, it's faster to just sit down and go live. I just have to think of my title. That's the thing that I just do the moment I sit down. which is what stops you from doing it. But I'm learning how to like save settings and move forward. And I just do it because I like having the YouTube channel Sniff and Jay. Any gaming streams coming up, I'm not opposed to doing some gaming stuff. Doing the morning streams has been good because A, it's a better schedule for me and Kara. Also, it's a better schedule when I start like trying to bring more of the DSA people to, you know, just have me as some side content in the morning for a little bit, to see if I can get some viewership up or whatever it is. But then when I end the stream around midday, that's then where I get into doing chores or some side tasks because it's like 2 p.m. and I can still like call doctor's offices and stuff. Or I can then just absorb news and media, like watch a Hassan streams or just whatever. So bleeding longer into gaming content would make sense, especially if I'm able to like collaborate with people or just find something. I don't want to be totally unplugged from things because unfortunately the way I've absorbed a lot of news and information is through the medium of Twitch in a sense, or live streams, or just the content engines that exist. So if I lose my little prime time, then I might just get less informed or whatever. But it does make sense to have some longer streams just to stay alive more and to just have fun and be able to do things. Because I do watch some people who are very comfortable just going live and staying live super long and just letting the day come around them. I had this weird, like, I feel like I always need to be moving, keeping the content fresh or interesting, saying something or doing something, always having something worth looking at for a second, which is a pressure I should try to lean off a little bit. I mean, I think it's a good technically, but the more intense the pressure feels, the more exhausting it is to do it. So probably not immediately, but it's not out of the idea entirely. There's definitely a lot of things like Deltarune and shit like I want to play for sure. There's lots of friend slop games that would be awesome to get back into, like Peak or whatever, or any of the other new ones. I'm sure they're coming out and soon. And also, if I was able to rub elbows with a bunch of different communities, a lot of them, like when Hassan is live, just go on and play games because they're not going to get any viewers anymore. So it's almost a perfect time to kind of try and start doing some gaming stuff. So that's the gut feelings I have on that stuff. But no direct thoughts this second or plans this second.
And this is your Deodos of Pets. The sheepdog may have lied on his application.
Not a sheepdog, huh?
Do you ever just look at your pet and think,
wait, that sounds like the lady from Walter. Does she have other pets? No, the camera quality is nowhere nearly right. That pug is just me waking up every day.
this is the most perfect thing that I've ever seen?
Okay, that is the lady from Walter, but they added that audio on top of a different thing. That's so fucking crazy. It's funny.
Why you hiding? Why you in that bag?
Look at that.
Oh. Physical therapy right there. This is a physical therapy place. Interesting that they brought their parrot.
It's all right, you ain't doing anything.
Oh, shit. So cute that it was using its arms. You can't see, buddy. You can smell, though. You can't. That's glass.
Being a nosy neighbor.
This dog thinks he is Gandalf.
Okay, they trained this dog, obviously, and I feel bad for it because it just wants to eat that fucking wiener you have in your pocket. Audio added in post. Upsetting.
I have been looking for this dog for a half an hour. Benzie.
A lot of a dead fly. His foot was not stuck. He does this on purpose. Oh, he's like on the hair.
Hope it don't happen again.
It looks like he was stuck. I don't know. I believe you.
Can I wipe this off you? Oh no, Ellie, stop.
No. This happens to my cats as well. When I pet them and then they start immediately just cleaning the spot I just petted, and I'm like, what? Really? Like what? What do you mean? Huh?
This cat has a lot to say.
Beautiful little tabby nose. I always thought they looked like kibble, the little tabby nose color, because when I grew up as a baby, we had 2 tabby cats. One was from a pet store. One was from a trash can. I think my dad named him Coon. And he came from the trash. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say raccoon. Because I believe that was what he was doing. But it was the 80s. I have fond memories of that cat to some degree. He ended up dying of cancer. Bone cancer. It was a really sad time, actually. This is I no. Whoa. I guess I'll just deny because I don't want to add that to like accepted terms, but yes. And we ended up naming the next pair of cats the backwards spelling, which is how we got Nook. And our first other cat was named Ashley. So we had Yelsa, which is a very Russian name because there was like Yelsa was the name of like, I guess, some higher up person. I don't remember what the job title was, but. What the hell? What crazy eyebrows this kitty's got. It's so silly. It's a silly kitty. How does my piano keep getting untuned? It's such a tall and big dog to just decide to just stand up on such a thin, narrow area. Oh my goodness. The leverage that little boy got. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's sweet. Squish that cat. Ooh, squish that cat. That's Kara.
So I guess their gender reveal party didn't go to plan.
Well, you gain a boy and you lose a boy. You know, it is what it is.
Ow! You just
Normal. I've seen this before. I don't know if it's a thing that's trained or some cats just do that naturally for some reason.
She was like, oh! I was like, oh!
Don't you dare. Motion lights. Wake up, bitch. Time to feed me.
These sheep can't wait to get their hair cut.
I can't imagine. Oh, God. That must stink so fucking bad. Based on just goat's breath was so bad. Oh, my God. It must be fucking rancid. Yo, dude, is that going to hold up? Dog's like, what the hell? How are you doing that? Oh, what a pretty Dalmatian. I don't see a lot of Dalmatians. That's a big dog.
Oh my god.
Wait, is she like scratching behind the microphone or something? And just is that because sometimes you scratch it right on like the that like butt lift part of their like lower back. Nah, she's probably just doing it. Also, she has like beige earmuffs for her Behringer head. I mean, I don't think they're like stained because they look too clean and uniform. But like mine have some very light sweat staining just because I'm a sweaty fuck. I might eventually have to replace these earmuff covers, but that looks kind of nice. The different colors, knitted covers. It still looks like the same kind of weird like suede kind of coloration, like the brightness from depending on which way it's combed or whatever. It looks similar. Damn, these really are kind of old and fucked up. I bought not knowing enough about how audio engineering works, I bought the highest impedance, which means you need the most power to drive the speakers themselves. But they were supposed to have the most neutral and flat profile because like every speaker will have some level of EQ built into it on what vibrations is good at doing and whatever, science. But when I was doing video editing stuff, I wanted my headphones to be as neutral as possible. So that way, when I edit something and I want to add bass, I'm not going to think enough bass is there before I add it because I have a bass boosted headphone, like a Beats headphone or something. That was the thought process. And I don't know if I can even tell the difference. It just means that I can't use those headphones with like a phone because it just wouldn't have the juice. It would be so quiet. It wouldn't be able to really come out. And even the thing I have now is like just barely enable, but I'm not going to buy an amp or whatever just for my headphones.
Blah, 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 blah.
This little guy can smell cancer.
Ooh, boy. Okay. Very interesting training procedures to utilize their ability to smell that one particular olfactory thing that comes off of cancer cells. Like, if I have liver cancer, is it really stinky that bad that it comes out of my skin that you can go up there and smell it? I have to imagine it must be some type of like external cancer, or they can just, I mean, like you wouldn't biopsy something out of your body and then have dogs smell it to decide if you do or don't have cancer, because that would just be like, no, you just look at it in like a microscope or whatever and figure it out. Or you do like a fucking test on it. Like, what the hell? So there must be something that they can do. But also, this is what I imagine whenever there's those heartwarming stories about how a dog could somehow know if somebody's about to die or whatever, that it's somehow related to this kind of shit, and they just use it as like, emotional bait. The birds seem sweet, and they're funny, and they're smart. They just, I guess being empathetic to myself, I have sensory issues with noise. It's a thing that I can hopefully get better at and learn to, relax. Like sometimes ZZ will come up to me and just meow and yell at me. Box that are released by cancerous cells and excreted in breath, sweat, or urine or blood. I have to imagine that must only be obviously a certain type of cancer, just because I doubt that every form of cancer happens to enter the bloodstream in that way and come through the breath. Maybe it's only metastasized stuff where it's spreading, which would be really bad, just because that's usually means you're more rip. But yeah, it makes sense that they're getting it through some way of it leaving your body, which the number one way for air to leave your body is your breath. So via breath, bladder, kidney, and prostate cancer via urine. Okay, that's an excretion from you. That breast and skin cancer makes sense completely. Colorectal cancer via smelling your butthole. Dude, if your breath smells like ass, you got cancer, dog. Okay, you got ass cancer. Your breath smells like ass. It's not funny, but. Oop, almost got me. Oop. Those are hares. They have a really big body. Yeah, but they have these tiny little ears. Labs are just very sweet.
Hey, don't you want?
And that's a natural reaction whenever anything gets stuck in a dog's mouth, just because I've fucked around my dog when he yawns to like put my finger, you know, just to see what they do or react or whatever. And when everything gets stuck, they always kind of, whether it be a stick or whatever. So the cat not giving a fuck is kind of, look at that face. Look at that. That's just like such a demure face.
On his tail, Holly. Holly.
Quit it. You're driving me nuts.
What a fat dog. That dog eats a lot of bread.
Charlie, all his adoption paperwork said he will sit there and just look at you like he's trying to figure out what you are.
You zeroed him out. Don't give me that. Is he both sides or just the one side?
So sleepy. Not ready.
Look at that big face. A big fucking face. It's a pity. I assume I'm pretty sure it's a pity. Oh my God. Look at that nose. All that hair is rubbed off of that nose. That must either be, it must be an older puppy. Also, it looks a little bit graying. Also could be the lighting, but I think because of that skin rubbed off, it's a little bit older of a puppy. No, I think it's cropped ears though. Poor thing.
Ready to do anything, not ready to get up until I ask, would you like to go? Ooh, that ear.
God damn, dude. God damn, dude. It's like a white guy at a reggae concert. What the fuck? Yo, what the fuck?
This is what an army of ducks looks like.
I love that lady just walking with a red dress, long with her hair out. That's amazing. Ooh, what a beautiful color kitty. It's like a just wonderfully toasted Philco. Oh my goodness. He's like a red panda.
No.
Oh, look at him. Oh my good.
The cat could not believe what he
I guffawed.
just saw.
Yo, dude, what?
Don't even think about it. Look,
oh, no.
Look how close that thing is to your head.
Dude.
You gonna get your head chopped off. You keep playing around.
No, it's just gonna get bonked really bad.
Jump into that fan if you want to.
Dude, his eyes must be like seeing every moment that blade is ripping. Like, their eyeballs are insane. And like, sometimes if you look at a fan just right, you can catch one blade and spin your eyes around with it, and you can like isolate it, even if it looks like a blur at first. But like those cats, like they live on another level. They can like, they're outpacing snakes. You know what I mean? So it must see like every blade perfectly.
It's gonna be censored content on TikTok if you jump into that fan.
Poor little guy is just trying to form his first thought.
He's so sweet. Dog's just one of the guys, man. It's awesome. Oh my goodness. Those two boxers, literally, like the breed of dog. That's funny.
Hey, kitty.
Oh, sweet tabby. Nice and it's like got a thick tail too. Pretty kitty. Like to me, that's a default cat. Is a tabby. Just because I guess I was a child and I grew up with a tabby. I guess some people think about an orange cat as like the default cat, but to me, that's a default cat.
Okay.
No.
You need to go.
Bye.
See you later.
I mean, that's more than however many ounces of liquid, right?
This might be the nosiest dog.
That fish is gonna be long dead, dude. I mean, I can't believe like the pressure change and like I can't imagine there's oxygen enough in that bag for even. I just can't.
Bruh. Fix that neck.
Wait, he's just turned to the left, right?
Ronan.
Oh, what? You must be a lizard. Yeah. He needs traction. Now. No, I've been there, man. That's frustration city right there, right? Oh my god. That's ZZ. That's literally how ZZ fucking. She just gets up to me and you just even worse.
I'm terrified.
Terrified. Oh my goodness. It's like a little panther coloring with the little dark head and the little reddish orange color and then the little soft belly. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Dude, my ovaries are aching looking at this little baby kitten. He's so cute. Yeah, this is. Oh my god, they're drooling. They're fighting the urge. Oh, they're. What the fuck? Why is the coughing doing it?
Yes.
Because yeah, those. It's trained.
Climb me. Rise, my child. Good. I surrender.
Hope there's no kitties in my bag.
This little guy hasn't got a care in the world.
Oh, the okay, I can't swat a fly as hard as I try. That cat could slowly lower its anus on top of it and make it not buzz off. Oh my goodness. It's like a raptor. He doesn't have any front legs. He's just leaning. Ooh. Poor little baby, but he's doing great. You gotta catch him in the run and put it on him.
I walked out of the shower for literally 2 seconds and this.
I thought she was going to tell me about her 24 karat gold boo-boo for a second, which is like Jersey slander, basically, which is, you know, yeah, the Shure emote. I was pretty happy when I made that Shure emote. At first, I made the Shure emote using Karen like that. She loves her 24 karat gold Labubu. At first, I made, when I was copying the emote, I copied the lips, and then I was like, ZZ has, you know, would have lips, but I was like, okay, that looks kind of fucked. I can't include those.
This guy's just out here like this. Sorry, collar on and everything.
Just like the eyes, like.
Wow.
Beautiful. Do I have that emote turned on? Yeah.
Really?
Oh. What a little chubbers. That's insane. Oh my.
I don't want this conversation to go on too much or whatever, it to be taking up too much energy because I feel like.
So why did he stiffen up like that?
No. There's a couple of old puppers. You can kind of, I'm calling them old just because of the way they're coloring in their face, and they're a little frowny. They're a little dumpy in their bodies. They were just playing and they wanted a little shelter. They look a little perturbed, poor little puppy. I thought labs like water though. I guess water is different than rain. It's interesting. That's sweet to put the goggles on the dog.
Would you
I
like
like
to try my
that.
hat on? I wonder what that would look like. I don't really like to do things like that, but I just feel like it might set this whole image off quite nicely. Oh yeah,
lady.
So I guess this little guy isn't paying the bills.
What's the matter?
They do learn things like that. A little bit. They got more in the tank than they want to admit, for sure, when it comes to like their intelligence.
What's the matter? What do you want? What do you want? Oh, that's not a ball. That.
Was that a kitten under the cap? Dude, this is like rich Georgia house ass shit right here. Wine glasses, deep, wide double sink, kitchen island in like a giant open plan, gray walled fucking. Whoa,
The
it's a
senior
bird.
cat
Okay.
gets to get carried around like a baby.
I did see the bird cage, so I guess it was a bird. No, see, like, there's some. Oh,
That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later.
Concepts of money sucks. Ooh, Big Tug, hell yeah. Get radicalized, Big Tug. I need you. Gen Alpha, the future of narcissism. We watched this one. It was a little contentious with the audience, but I'll just tap it up as a possible one to watch later. I know. Tabbies seem to be more of a swaddleable breed based off of my small exposure to the limited number of cats I have seen, but they seem to be more cuddle bugs. But that could just be anecdotal evidence. Yeah. So, got to end early so that way I can take a shower and get ready to go down to the meeting. It's you know, anything in suburbia takes you minimum 25 minutes to get to, both ways. Traffic, even on weird days and weird times. But I had fun today. It was good waking up and getting into things. It was good to wake up feeling existential dread from all the bad things I looked at last night, and then feeling better about things, but then also immediately looking into other different versions of things, but then having hope for the future, as always. And doing action, like literally going out and talking to people and interacting with them. Also be a good place for me to IRL try to just, you know, rep my fucking shit and be like, yo guys, did you want to watch some shit in the mornings? Put me on your second monitor and, you know, play me on your earbuds or whatever. I'd love to have that live podcast effect with everybody, but whatever. We'll see. Possibly gaming in the future. It's interesting that you guys specifically like to see gaming, just because I'm not a particularly good gamer. And also, like, I'm fine. I'm just average, just some dude. And then each game is different. So it's just gaming content as a generic thing. I always figured the talking about things and watching stuff would always be a more interesting form of passive/active engagement. But yeah, I should be playing background music in this moment. That's not the same thing. That's the video about Dan Bongino, which is a banger video, but we'll watch that another time. So many tabs of music. Okay. Thanks everybody for coming in. 4 viewers. That's my incredibly small bean threshold for rating out the people. We can try raiding somebody we haven't raided before. So let's raid Denims. Denims is a bit of a not a drama frog, whatever, but she's great. She makes good stuff. She reacts to things. Sometimes she covers a bit more contentious topics. Sorry, maybe a little loud. But she's in the same circle of humans that I would love to. I just typed in /Denims. If you've never seen her stuff, she's good. And also she gets a lot of targeting because she's a woman. Lesbian, pretty sure. Arab. Also pretty. That always gets you people mad at you. Okay. Yeah. They don't allow raids. Probably because either they just don't want raids in general or I'm too small, which is understandable. Okay. Opposite direction. Less big, but another fellow small person that didn't even notice at first, which is kind of a fucked up thing to say. I just didn't see their thing on. Forlow. Hassan Mod, I think, actually. Not an editor, but a person who's been sort of like making a presence on Twitter, getting viral a couple of times, and also good dude. So I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully bright and early at 9. I'll do my best not to be late. Make sure you get something done today, get something checked off your list. Free Palestine, and see you tomorrow.